Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Wealth After Work, the show bringing you in and through your retirement. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, and joining me in the studio is Josiah Grauso. He is the Vice President and Senior Financial Advisor at ASC Financial Group, and Taylor Munoz, Senior Financial Advisor. We've got a great show for you today. We are going to be sharing with you some recent success stories of folks just like yourselves throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey who have called into this television show, come in and met with the team of ASC Financial Group, and they have been able to help them take their retirement planning from good to great. So we know you're going to be encouraged by today's show because chances are you have a lot of the same questions and concerns in your lives as well. Josiah, Taylor, so excited to have this conversation with you. How are you this week?
I'm doing great. Yeah, great to be with you.
Great. Good to be with you.
Great to be back and so excited because we have so much freaking fun on here. It's just great. So I love being here with all three of us. It's great.
We do. And this topic is one of my favorites because it is always so encouraging to hear real world examples of how you all are helping and serving folks. And so here's the reality. We're going to be sharing a lot of recent success stories with you today. The common thread that a lot of these folks have is that they already had some semblance of a financial plan when they came in to meet with the team. However, their plan was broken, meaning it wasn't fully optimized for either where they were in their current stage of life or where we are in today's economic landscape. The reality is things are always changing, and your plan needs to be flexible and adaptive and updated to meet the needs of both where you are and where we are in the world today. So I'm excited to hear how you've been able to take folks' plans and take them from good to great. So you ready to dive in?
Let's go.
All right, perfect. So let's start first off. Why is it so important for retirees to keep their plan active and responsive to changing conditions? Because I know you have tons of stories that illustrate that exact point.
Yeah, Chris, I think first it's important to acknowledge that there's different strategies that are appropriate for different phases of our life. So kind of looking at this first from a 10,000 foot level, it's important to know that when we're in our early working years, we're contributing to a 401k or a 403b or an IRA. We have a long time horizon. We can take more risk, and we have more appetite for risk, really, in that sense. But as we start to get closer to those retirement years, what we call the retirement red zone, that 5 to 10 years out from retirement, it's no longer set it and forget it. Our priorities start to do a 180 towards needing income. So in those early years, we have accumulation. We're growing our nest egg. As we get closer to retirement, we need to focus on preservation, right, where we don't want unexpected losses. And then when we get to actually retiring, we have to figure out how do we now pay ourselves a paycheck. It's less about accumulation, and it's more about how do we take what we've accumulated and turn it into an income stream.
Yes,
right?
we want to replace that paycheck, right?
Right, yeah, you got to replace that paycheck. We need predictability and we need more certainty. So that's the overall picture about why it's important that our strategies always be adapting and evolving as we go throughout those different years. Then once we get to retirement, it's important to really make sure that we've protected what we have and we take that income from it. So, when we look at that's the reason that we need to start making that shift. And then even more specifically, when we want to start to protect against those unexpected losses, because if we make a mistake, we say we really only get one chance to do it right. If we make a mistake or we get those unexpected losses, we don't want to spend the healthiest years of our retirement trying to recover from loss, that we may or may not get back. And so it's important to make sure that we're adapting and evolving for that new phase that we're in.
Yes.
So one area that it gets very specific about why it's important to ever be adapting and evolving our strategy is that when we look at fixed income investments, fixed income strategies. So we had a gentleman that had seen our show. He came in for his retirement income analysis. He was from the Scranton area. He was very safe, didn't want any risk, but all of his money were in fixed annuities and CDs. He had 4 fixed annuities and he had 8 retirement CDs.
Wow.
Some of which were getting just very poor interest rate returns, less than 3%. So we looked at what he had and we were able to help him consolidate into a strategy that unified everything, made sure that everything was maximizing the best interest rates and returns he could get today, so that he now had the same risk profile. We protected his downside risk the same way he was before, but he got that greater return by making that shift into making sure that he could take advantage of the highest rates available in today's environment. So when you look at that, and every dollar of extra income matters when we're retired.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And over the course of a 25 or hopefully 30 plus year retirement, those dollars really start to add up and could end up being a six-figure difference in retirement when we look over all of those years.
Right.
So that's why it's so important that we always be adapting and evolving based off of the best offerings for where we're at in today's economic and interest rate environment.
And how did he feel after you made those changes for him?
I mean, much more secure and confident. I think confidence is what we're really shooting for with folks, is being confident in your income strategy in retirement.
And I love that story, because I think this is a challenge a lot of folks are facing today is, okay, I want to keep my money safe, right? I've worked so hard. I've saved well. This is my retirement nest egg. This is what I have to make last for me throughout the rest of my life. And they want to play it safe, and the safety feels good, but that doesn't always necessarily mean it's the best long-term strategy. So walk us through, Josiah, how you help someone who's in that position and feeling that tension, if you will, between those two things. How do you help them take advantage of today's opportunity, but still making sure that their money is protected?
Yeah, it's a great question, Kristen. So safety is important, especially when you're in or nearing retirement. I get that idea of making sure that you want to be conservative and you want to be safe from there. But if you're investing everything you have into short-term, low-yield accounts, you risk falling behind because some of these lower interests. And so we had a couple that called in from the television show here, Kyle and Brenda. They were just outside of the greater Philadelphia area. And Kyle was semi-retired, working as a security officer. Brenda was a loan officer. And they were very, very conservative. Almost everything they had were in short-term CDs. Now, recently, they've been getting a great return, and they've been happy with where that was and designed kind of going forward. But it really lacked that long-term income plan. And so because we are in this high interest rate environment, when I took them through our retirement income analysis, one of the things we were able to take a look at was this idea of refinancing those CDs. When we talk about refinancing, if I'm having a mortgage and I'm paying a high interest rate and current interest rates are now lower, I'm going to want to refinance to drop that lower.
Right.
And it works the same thing in our investments, okay? If we have favorable environments, we want to be able to refinance and be able to maintain that ability to provide a higher guaranteed income or an income stream that we can't outlive. And so that's what we were able to do with them. We were able to provide them predictable, reliable, stable income that really wasn't just designed for the next 2 to 3 years, but the next 10, 15, and 20 years. And so again, short-term safety is good. So I don't want to increase your overall risk that you've got, but we can do some proactive planning, some proactive steps that we've got in a very favorable environment that I don't know how much longer we have.
Right.
Okay, but to take advantage of that today. And so if that's you at home and you are not too sure, you're kind of risk adverse, you've done a lot of these CDs and you think you've got a great return now, but you're not sure how long that's going to last. I'm going to encourage you to pick up that phone, give us a call at the number below, speak with a member of the team of ASC Financial Group. Let us go through our retirement income analysis for you, designed to understand what the fees we're paying, what the risks that we have. Do we have enough income to generate for the rest of our lives? Give us a call at the number below, and we will be able to sit down with you, providing you that analysis and giving you some peace of mind to see if you're in a great position or if there are some steps and strategies we need to take to maybe make some changes.
Josiah Taylor, thank you so much. No doubt so many folks watching can relate to both of those stories, because at the end of the day, what you don't want to do is, in the name of safety, end up going broke safely, right?
Correct.
So
Exactly.
we got to make sure that income plan is there. So if this is resonating with you, if you would like to schedule your complimentary retirement income analysis, all you need to do is call the number on the bottom of your screen, 844-918-4867. Or if you'd rather connect online, we've got you covered. Simply scan that QR code in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, and that will get you connected as well. Don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more great success stories we're going to share with you right after this.
I started the business back in 2005 as a legacy for my family, and I'm blessed to have two of my sons working with me.
ASC Financial Group, it's a family-run firm where we are focused on income, not just growth.
Many people can't say that they're able to work with not only their father, but their mentor and their best friend.
My main objective when I meet with someone is building a relationship, building trust.
All of the advisors and the staff, we're all listeners. It's not about telling people that come through the door what concerns them. It's about listening to them and really vetting what their goals and dreams are. We want our clients to feel like family, just like we are family within the practice.
And that's what we want to provide for our clients.
Welcome back to Wealth After Work. I'm Kristen Oakley here with both Josiah and Taylor from ASC Financial Group, and we are so glad that you are joining us today. If you're just tuning in, today is a very fun conversation where we are sharing with you some recent success stories of folks just like yourselves throughout Pennsylvania, throughout New Jersey, who have called into the show, come in and met with the team of ASC Financial Group, and how they've been able to help those individuals take their retirement planning from good to great. I know the next stories we want to talk about touch on Social Security, which is a huge question that so many folks have questions about. We know it's very complex. We've talked about that at length on this show previously. But I think there's a misconception that there's the best time to take it, right? And there's some camps that say you always want to take it early because you don't know if it's going to be there for you, right? We hear that train of thought. Or you always want to delay because that's how you're going to get the most and maximize your benefit. So I'm curious, because I know this is a question that you all get a lot. A lot of folks have called into the show and you've been able to do Social Security optimization reports for them as part of that retirement income analysis. Why does that type of advice, those extremes, often backfire for folks?
Yeah, Kristen. So we kind of talk about, doing it early or doing it later. Here's the rule of thumb. The rule of thumb sounds simple, okay? But in reality, they often leave money on the table or unnecessary strain on other income planning situations that we have. Here's the thing. Every case is different, Kristen.
Yep.
We've got to take a lot of factors into an account when we're talking about optimization. What's our health, our marital status, our age differences with our spouse?
Are we still working,
Yeah,
right?
I was just about to say, what about our work history? Are we still working? What other income sources or tax brackets that we have? And that's why we talk about optimizing our Social Security, not just about maximizing our Social Security. And so let me explain to you this strategy that I just recently had with Debbie, who I sat down with. She's from music, a former teacher. And when I sat down with Debbie, she was just turned 65. She retired and her coworkers told her, well, you need to start your Social Security. So that's what she was planning to do. She saw our show. She gave us a call. I sat her down, went through our retirement income analysis. And one of the things that I uncovered with Debbie is that she was previously married. She did get divorced, but she was married at least 10 years. Her ex-husband had recently passed away. And so I let her know, I'm like, Debbie, did you realize you could actually turn on some widower benefits, start drawing on that money and allowing your Social Security benefits to delay, meaning she was able to receive an 8% increase for the next 3 years, increasing her overall retirement strategy and her income strategy that she has. And again, the right strategy isn't always about maybe just copying what your neighbor did,
right?
Okay, because what maybe is right for them could be disastrous for you. You want to make sure you understand some of these unique options that you have available, and you want to get it right the first time if we can help it.
Oh, yes, because when you look at Social Security as the whole, I think this is another trap folks fall into. They only look at the monthly amount. When you look at that as income over the rest of your life, though, it adds up to be hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you want to get that decision right. So I'm curious, because it's an important piece, but it's only one piece of someone's overall retirement income puzzle. So talk about how you are helping folks have the Social Security timing going hand in hand with their other income sources in retirement.
Yeah, and it's important to not look at Social Security in a vacuum. We want to make sure that we're looking at it in the context of our overall income picture. And that's why our retirement income analysis is so important, because we pair that with a Social Security analysis to look at not just what's best for you in terms of Social Security, but what's best in terms of your pensions. If you have a pension, an annuity, your invested accounts, your tax-deferred accounts, your Roth accounts. We look at everything combined together to see what's the best situation for you. And a lot of times we hear that, we look at the other assets that you have in order to determine whether we delay Social Security, right? So if we're 62, do we take Social Security at 62, or do we delay closer to our full retirement age? That's often what we hear talked about, but we actually also see the reverse. And in this case, a woman had reached out to us from the Easton area, Lehigh Valley. She'd seen the show, she was turning 62, she was divorced, and she was just trying to determine what was best, whether she should take her benefit now or start to draw on some of these other accounts that she had. And in her case, when we looked at the overall picture and the amount of growth and compounding, especially with an income-first approach on her other investments, what we were able to determine was that it was better for her to take Social Security early and let her other assets compound. And in the next 5 years, it would be a difference of over $1,000 a month in income for her to take Social Security early, allow her other assets to delay rather than the reverse. And so when you look at things, and so she's 62, there's a very high likelihood that she has a 30+ year retirement ahead of her. That's where $1,000 a month becomes $12,000 a year, becomes over $300,000 in the context of a full retirement. So every additional dollar makes so much of a difference, is so critical to someone's income picture that, even if it seems, it's only $500, well, yeah, you multiply that monthly, annually over the course of an entire healthy retirement, and that's a lot of added income.
It is.
Right? So we, in her case, we looked at everything combined. We looked at all of her income streams, and that was what was best for her. It's a situational decision.
For sure. I'm curious real quick, because you mentioned that she also had been divorced. So that first example, that woman had been married for at least 10 years. She actually qualified to collect off of her ex-spouse. Was that the same in this case,
It
or
was,
did that?
It was different. Her ex-spouse was quite a bit younger and had not filed yet, and also just made more sense for her to file for her benefit in that case.
Which
so
I love that you have those two stories, because that really just proves there's no one size fits all for this, right?
Right, exactly.
It really does depend.
Exactly. So in that case, it's important for our viewers especially to understand that we don't want to consider Social Security in a vacuum. We want to look at everything combined. That's why our retirement income analysis paired with a Social Security analysis is so important, so that you have that full picture before you make any lasting decisions on what's best for you. We're going to look at your overall income picture. We're going to look at the tax implications of your Social Security paired with your other investments and your other sources of income. And again, this is a complementary, completely no obligation, retirement income analysis that we do for you. And so we'd encourage you to reach out to us, schedule that consultation to be able to get your own analysis so that you can begin taking control of your retirement income picture.
Wonderful. Taylor, Josiah, thank you so much. I'm excited for more folks to get to connect with you as a result of today's conversation. And especially when it comes to Social Security, it's important to know that there's a lot of firms out there that don't even touch the Social Security conversation. They're going to tell you to go elsewhere. Or if you do go down to the Social Security Administration, the reality is they are allowed to give you information, but they are not allowed to give you individual personalized advice based on your unique situation. The only way you're going to get that is part of this complimentary retirement income analysis, and by coming in and sitting down in the financial planning environment to see what could be right for you. So we encourage you to reach out and schedule your complimentary retirement income analysis today. You can do so by calling 844-918-4867. Or again, if you'd rather connect online, simply scan that QR code and that will get you connected as well. Stay with us. We've got more recent success stories for you right after this.
When interest rates are low, you might be able to refinance your home, your car, and even your credit cards, because it could help you keep more of your own money each month. Yet when interest rates go up, it may make sense to refinance your retirement. Higher interest rates could provide income opportunities you may not be aware of. What works for your portfolio during low interest rates may not work when your interest rates are high. Find out if a retirement refi could work for you. Call today for your complimentary Refi Your Retirement review.
Welcome back to Wealth After Work. I'm Kristen Oakley here with both Josiah and Taylor from ASC Financial Group. And today we've had a lot of fun going through some recent success stories of viewers just like yourselves who have reached out, called this television show, come in and sat down with the team of ASC Financial Group, and how they've been able to take that person's retirement plan from good to great. And we want to be able to do that for you as well. You know, guys, we talk a lot on the show about income. It's all about income, right?
Yeah.
This is why you offer that complimentary retirement income analysis. And I know you have some more stories to share with us that have to do with folks understanding where they are in the retirement planning process, and that this important shift has to occur between your working years when you're used to saving and growing your wealth into turning that into reliable ongoing income that's going to last them for the rest of their lives. So I'm curious, because I know, Taylor, you have a story, and this relates to something known as the 4% rule, which is one of those rules of thumb that doesn't always work in today's economic environment. So talk about that.
Yeah, we love talking about this topic, Kristen, because so much of the financial services industry is focused around growth, growth, growth. And, you know, historically, the 4% rule is essentially what they say is the so-called safe amounts to be able to withdraw from a growth portfolio every year. And you should get enough growth to offset that. But when we talk about a retirement that's predictable and certain, we don't like the word should. We like more predictability and certainty, right?
Yes.
And so the 4% rule is very growth-centric. If you talk to 3 different growth-based advisors, you will get 3 different answers about how much is so-called safe to withdraw from your growth portfolio. And in that sense, there's almost no true safe withdrawal strategy that's completely safe. So, but we know as income-first advisors that the return we get on our investments or any of our retirement accounts always comes from 2 places. Yes, there is a portion that comes from growth, right? That's capital appreciation, right? Where we want growth in that underlying investment. And there's capital loss, right? We just don't know with certainty year to year whether the market's going to go up or down.
Right.
But we do know that there are assets that generate high amounts of income, meaning interest and dividends. And when we focused first on those assets, we know that those assets are more resilient to markets' ups and downs, and are more separate from those ups and downs, and they help guard against those losses. And in some cases, we can actually get more of a return from the income than we can relying on something like the 4% rule or the 4% strategy, because that requires us to liquidate part of our portfolio when we pull out that money. And if we're no longer working, no longer contributing to our accounts, and we have a shorter time horizon to recover from potential loss, well, that 4% rule doesn't always add up.
Correct.
So we had a gentleman come in, he saw the show from the Nazareth area. His goal was he wanted to get his portfolio to $1 million so that he could safely pull $40,000 out a year. So kind of really that is the 4% rule.
Right, that's probably what he'd been heard and told, and that's what he was
even
achieving,
cited
right?
It, said, this is what I'm following, this is what I'm doing. And he was fortunate, blessed in that he had low expenses, you know, and he had a sizable nest egg, and he was getting there. But when we went through the retirement income analysis with him, we were able to show that if you take an income first approach, you can actually get that $40,000 with a substantially less portion of your assets. So we were able to get the same return, meet the same goal that he had for consistent income using less of his assets. And so in that case, he got the money that he needed on an annual basis, and he was able to then put some of that other money towards some growth strategies that would keep pace with inflation, continue to grow his nest egg over time. So it was really a powerful example of what it means to look at income first versus solely a growth-centric approach.
Yes, and I know as much as we talk about income, so much of what you are doing with folks is helping them look at the whole picture and maybe even helping answer and address that question of, can I go ahead and retire? Have I saved enough? Have I done enough, right?
Yeah, great question, Kristen. You know, when we look at it here, you need to just make sure your strategies are constantly evolving and adapting based on your current life circumstances. Let me tell you one last story here about Tom and Mary from Great Meadows, New Jersey. She came to sat in with me when she was 64 years old. She didn't want to retire until she was about 67, 68. About 6 months later, she came back in. She called me and said, look, my company's starting to downsize. They're given a bunch of these buyout options. I'm worried if I don't take it, a year later, they can just let me go and I don't get that option. Right.
Yeah.
And so can I make this work? And so as we're going through our retirement income analysis, we were able to see, because we started to shift from that growth to that income preservation that we had, that principal preservation, that by taking that severance package, turning on Social Security early, and receiving that interest and dividends that they had from that portfolio, it was able to completely take cover what they were needing in retirement. And get this, Kristen, 6 months after that, she called me on the phone, actually, when she came in for her yearly review, and Tom was just diagnosed with an unfortunate medical concern.
Oh, gosh.
And so, but she was saying, you know, Josiah, the fact that I know I'm secure in my retirement, the fact that I know that I have a renewable, stable income plan, income strategy, I'm able to spend this time with Tom. I'm able to take care of the needs that he has. We're able to do some of these things in vacation. If I was working, I would never be able to do that. And I feel like I would have this lost time. And so, folks, there's a number of stories that we talked about today on this show. And, you know, there's a lot of fears. There's a lot of concerns that are out there. And we don't know, are we ready to retire? Am I on track to have the right plan in place? So I'm going to say, if you're not too sure, or if you think you've got a solid plan, much like your gentleman with that 4% rule that we've got, give us a call, speak to a member of the team of ASC Financial Group. Let me provide that retirement income analysis, going over what my risks are, what my income's generating. Do I have enough protected? And I'm going to encourage you to give us a call, let us sit down with you, and we can provide that retirement for you.
Thank you so much, guys, and thank you for watching. We look forward to being back with you next time here on Wealth After Work.